to the Lead with Ease podcast by me, Namita Purohit. As a leadership coach, I am dedicated to helping leaders like yourself operate at levels very few aspire to. This podcast is proudly sponsored by the Transcend Partnership, an upcoming community that I am building for leaders to find their people, the people who get them, to find their inner circle, their innovation circle, so that they can operate at 10x in life and business. In today's podcast, I am going to talk about why proximity is power, what types of people you need proximity with, how to approach them, and where to find them. In November 2023, I was at a Tony Robbins event in Dallas. 11,000 people in a huge convention center, all together, focused on going to the next level in their life and business. The energy was amazing. And Tony Robbins was the chief motivator and inspirer and teacher and coach and mentor. But his team, with Jamie Kern-Lima, the first female CEO of L'Oreal, Joseph McClendon III, the most sought-after ultimate performance specialist in the industry, Peter Diamandis, a New York Times bestseller and co-founder of the Singularity Singularity University, Human Longevity Inc., Cellularity Inc., etc., and many, many more people like him and them. And it was just so infectious. Their energy, their inspiration, their motivation, their can-do attitude, their stories, the hero's journey that came out through each of their stories. And it was so inspirational to be there. There was one particular incident that really stayed, in my mind. As a coach, there is one thing that I have been a little hesitant practicing, but I want to, because I know the amount of transformation that can bring in a client's life. It's about the shock treatment that can be given at the right time to the client with the right relationship and in right measure that can really transform a client's life. But I was very careful about doing it because I didn't want it to cause harm in my client's life. And there I saw Tony in action in one of his live coaching sessions in front of 11,000 people with one of the audience members, in using a mix of strategies to help the person he was coaching, and then use the shock treatment just to the right, perfect effect in a room full of 11,000 people without embarrassing the client and helping them make the transformation they needed. And seeing the client's beliefs change right in front of us, as Tony did that, and seeing him do that in action was like a live masterclass. It would have taken me many, many years to try and test it myself before I knew what was the best way to do it. And here I saw Tony in action, and I was able to learn it so fast. Your habits, your thoughts, your attitude, your energy, your progression in life, and everything in between is heavily influenced by the people you surround yourself with. And we're all familiar with the saying that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You are who you associate with. You're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. Or if you're the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. And all of this is very true. And it's something we need to treat with utmost seriousness if you truly want to grow, if you truly want to achieve your blue sky vision. In that event, it was not just Tony and the entire, all the teachers and mentors and, speakers over there who were like giving us the energy and giving us the power through their proximity, the proximity by sharing their stories, sharing their hero's journey, sharing tips, and helping us do exercises. But it was also proximity with the 11,000 people out there, super motivated, super focused on unleashing their potential and getting to the next level in their life. So your family, your spouse, your friends, your parents are going to be your cheerleaders, are going to always be there for you. But they aren't always going to understand your blue sky vision or your passion or about how high you want to fly. Even if they are happy to listen, you cannot talk about it all the time with them. And there are many other things to talk about them, many duties and joys that you need to share with them. And it can happen that when you don't have anyone, a set of like-minded people in proximity to share this with, you can feel very lonely. And also, if you truly desire a high level of existence and operation, you want to be with people operating at that high level of existence and not people in your ear talking you out of it. So we need people, whether they're teachers, mentors, family, or trusted friends, who can challenge us or push us to do better. Or even if they don't say anything, just by looking at them, you just learn so much and feel so much inspiration. And the right circle of influence raises the bar and helps you set newer, loftier expectations out of yourself. And that's why there are so many mentorship organizations, so many communities, that people want to be part of. And it's only because so that they can get the inspiration from like-minded people. Now, you want to have proximity with two types of people. One of them is your peers. Peers who can be in the trenches with you. Peers who are running similar businesses, who are dealing with the same types of problems that you have. And they're doing, and probably at a level similar to you. And in some cases, in some aspects of the business, they will be ahead of you. They would have figured it out. And they can be your guide. They can share with you the pain points, the difficulties, the journeys, the solutions, etc., and also give you the emotional support as you wade through all of that. While in other cases, you may have figured something else out, and you could serve them by sharing all of that with them. And while sharing with them, you're supporting them in their growth. You're strengthening your relationship with them through an act of service. Also, as you speak about those things and you share, you develop appreciation for your own journey. And as you speak and share about it, you also become more clear about the steps you've taken. It reinforces them in your head, and it inspires you in different ways in your own business and things that you're trying to do. And there's a mastermind group that I am part of for coaches running online businesses and courses and podcasts and things like that. I joined that 3 years ago. Every time my membership renews, my yearly membership renews on that, I'm thinking, should I be part of this? Do I need to renew this for a year? And it's like, I don't even have to think about it after that I ask my question. And the answer is an instant yes from my gut, because in that community, I'm not only getting, people of a similar business at my level, but I'm also seeing businesses way ahead of me. And then there are experts that I get proximity with, that I can learn from and that I can follow, and who teach us their path. So you also need proximity with experts. But before I get into that, let me share a little bit, let me share a 2010 study that was carried out by the United States Air Force cadets and psychologists from the National Bureau of Economic Research. They tracked a cohort of cadets over 4 years. Now, the researchers found that while there was variability in fitness gains and losses across all the cadets, but there was not any variability, hardly any variability within the squadrons, right? So each squadron of cadets was a group of 30 cadets who were just randomly assigned during their freshman year. And the cadets spend the vast majority of their time interacting with their peers, doing things together, sharing their jokes, sharing their lives, and, being through the highs and lows of that squadron together. And in essence, it became second family to them. And even though all the squadrons trained and recovered in exactly the same manner, some squadrons showed great increases in fitness over 4 years, whereas others did not. And it turned out that the determining factor as to whether the 30 cadets within a squadron improved or did not was the motivation of the least fit person in the group. Now, if the least fit person was motivated to improve, then that cadet's enthusiasm spread and everyone improved. And if, on the other hand, the least fit person was apathetic or worse or negative or just didn't care, he would drag everyone down. And just like diseases easily spread through tight-knit groups, similarly, motivation does. And therefore, you need a very strong community of peers to get that infectious energy from each other so that you can grow. And if one person is motivated, it stirs the motivation in each person, and it helps everyone's collective motivational energy help the group achieve a lot more than what they could have achieved individually. Now, getting into the second type of people you want to have proximity with, and that is people ahead of you, way ahead of you also, mostly, yes? Because when you are with them, and even if you aren't able to interact, but just seeing them in action is such a learning experience. Watching them do the stuff they do, like the Tony Robbins experience that I had, watching him do the stuff that he was doing on stage, watching other experts in action, watching their stories was just amazing. And when you get to interact with such people, this was like a celebrity moment, him on stage and all of us watching him. But what if you were in the same room with experts in your field who are way ahead of you, and you're getting a chance to interact with them? Seeing them in action is going to fasten your learning curve. And years of trial and error you're going to leave behind. And you're going to see a master in action. You're going to see their vision. You're going to see their, what do they want to do with their lives? And it's going to help you see your own vision. And it's going to help you up-level that. It's going to help you see what is possible. There is no difference between this human being and me at the soul level. This is a spirit soul and I'm a spirit soul. But what's really different is their mindset. And the more you spend time with them, the more you're able to grow in your own mindset, grow your own vision, and grow your own ideas. Now, there's so much focus on behavior change and performance, which just focuses on the individual. Yes, that's half the story. Now, working to build a better self almost always means working with someone, surrounding yourself with someone, a person or a community that is way ahead of you. So if you want to get better at running, painting, writing, making music, parenting, coaching, I don't know what you want to get rid of, or you want to get rid of smoking, or you want to have a better way of eating, healthier lifestyle, or start a new exercise program, you want to be with people who are ahead of you in that, who are motivated, who are consistent, who are ahead of you in that, and who can show you the path. So the people you surround yourself with has an enormous impact in your life. And collectively, you can achieve a lot more. Now, next I want to talk about what steps do you need to take while in the proximity of such amazing people. What is the right way to approach them? And where can you find them? What can you do to learn? And I'm going to draw from Eastern wisdom for that. So what is the right attitude? What is the right way to approach them? Yes? What can you do? And I would like to introduce you to two concepts from the Bhagavad Gita that talk about the process of obtaining knowledge. And I'll chant the Sanskrit verse and then I'll do the translation and then we'll see how it applies to your activities in proximity with these great leaders around you. And what can you do over there, right? So the verse goes like this. It's chapter 4 of the Bhagavad Gita, 34th text. It's tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshanam. So just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. They're not saying go try to figure it out yourself, right? Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively, him or her, and render service unto them. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. Similarly, this is for your spiritual life. Similarly, whether it's you're trying to get ahead in business, you're trying to get ahead in leadership, you're trying to get ahead in brand building, you're trying to get ahead in investing, real estate, etc. You have to find the right guru for yourself. And you want to approach them with submission and service. That's what the verse says. And because they have seen, they know the path and, they know how to get there, they will guide you because they know it. They know the steps, they know the exact steps involved, right? So humility and service are two very key principles emphasized in the Bhagavad Gita as keys to gaining knowledge, right? So an attitude of humility is very important. So it could be a spiritual master or it could be a guru. When you approach them with humility and service, that's when knowledge can flow. Because when you approach them with humility and service, you're recognizing that they are at a higher level of knowledge and accomplishment and leadership and experience. And knowledge only flows from a higher source to a lower source very well. And therefore, not just the people who are ahead of us, even our so-called peers, we want to approach them with humility and submission. Because knowledge, service, knowledge flows from a higher source to a lower source. So if humility is missing in our program, in our way of approaching them, and that even whether you're approaching them personally or you are one of the 11,000 people watching these experts in action, if there is lack of humility, no matter what proximity you have, no knowledge is going to get transferred. You're not going to learn. So being humble in our approach is going to help us gain. And if you go as a know-it-all, they're going to treat you like their peer. But if you go with a humble attitude that, hey, I'm here to learn, they're going to very happily share their journey with you. Right? So the modern context is about how can I get a photo op with this big master of the field, and how can I put it on my social media, my LinkedIn, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, and how can I show I'm great because I had a picture with this great, and how can I use this person to my advantage? How can I leverage this person's network, this person's position to my own advantage for the plans that I have, and how can I pitch what I want to do to them so that they get interested, they invest in it, and we can go ahead. But it does not work like that even in the modern context. It doesn't work. Just think about yourself. You have some agency, you have accomplished something in life. And if you have some people who are, you are a few steps ahead of them and they're approaching you, but their only goal is just to get something out of you. Do you want to be around them? Or they're constantly asking you to help them or constantly asking you to do things for them. Do you think you want to be around them? It goes against the principles of relationship development, and it has to be authentic and it has to be natural and genuine. In the previous context also, from drawing from one of our epics, from the Vedic traditions, the Eastern traditions, which is the Mahabharata, you had a Duryodhan and you had an Arjun. Now, Arjun was this person who was very humble, who had a service attitude, who was wanting to learn, wanting to serve. Duryodhan was a very arrogant prince. Both of them were princes, but Duryodhan was very arrogant and Arjun was the humble one. And both of them were on opposing sides, about to go to war. And they reached out to Lord Krishna to seek his help. Proximity is power. Krishna is the Lord of the universe, the Lord of the universes, the Lord of the entire creation. And both of them approach him to get help from him so that they can win the battle. And Arjun decides to sit at the feet of Krishna when Krishna is resting and, he's still sleeping. Duryodhan goes and sits right at the head. Now, based on Eastern culture, it's usually we take the dust of the feet of our gurus so that we can learn. And it's a way of offering ourselves in humility and offering our service to them. And then Krishna opens his eyes. He sees Arjuna and he sees Duryodhana and he says, okay, Arjuna, what do you want? And Duryodhana's like, no, but I came first. And then Krishna goes, no, but I saw Arjuna sitting over here first. Arjuna says, what do you want? Krishna asks him, what do you want? And he asks, you could either take my entire army or you could have me. That's what I have to offer to both of you, since both of you are here. And Arjuna says, Krishna, I want you. Right? Choosing the right proximity. Right? I want proximity to Krishna. I want proximity to my guide, my guru, my Lord. I want him to be with me. And Duryodhana is very happy because he didn't care about having Krishna. He cared about having his network and resources. So then when the battle started, Krishna was Arjuna's charioteer. And Duryodhana had the entire divine army, big army of the Lord. And the Arjuna's army was way, way smaller than what Duryodhana had on his own, plus added Krishna's army. So who won the battle? The one with the resources or one with the proximity to the right person, to Krishna? Arjuna and his brothers won the battle. Duryodhana lost the battle in spite of having access to the network and resources. So it's something for us to think about. Even if you may have access to their network and resources, but if you don't have their guidance, you're not necessarily going to win. So just physical proximity without humility and access to their resources really does not do much to you. And I'm drawing from stories here, but you could even examine it from your own lives or the lives of other leaders that you have been watching around you. So this attitude of humility needs to be coupled with acts of service. And the act of service is, what can you serve them with when you're around them? It's not about bothering them. How can I serve you, and give me something so I serve you so that you can see me in action, and so that you develop trust in me, and so that you do something for me. It's not like that. It's about serving them to make their life easy. And sometimes the service may be to not serve them, because they want to, they're comfortable in a certain way, and you don't want to add discomfort by adding your own new ways of how they should be doing things. Yes, and it could be as simple as downloading an app for them to, improve their phone performance or something that they're trying to do, or calling a cab, or lifting their bags, and just doing genuine acts of service, without any desire for what am I going to get out of it? And I'll give you an example of a leader who said that how proximity can be very irritating for leaders when the people who are trying to be, have proximity with the leaders are only disturbing. And this is the founder of the Hare Krishna movement, Srila Prabhupada. All his disciples wanted to be with him, and even if they were in the same room with him, a lot of disciples who couldn't get into the room would be waiting outside, but then the ones who would get into the room, they would have competition between who's sitting right in the front row, and not just the front row, who's sitting right in front of Prabhupada. And they were jostling and, disturbing and having issues with each other because somebody took their place or whatever. And Prabhupada could sense that this is what they're trying to get proximity, and they're trying to do this here, but it's not helping. And it's just creating a massive commotion in this room. And then he starts his talk saying that, do you know who's the person closest to me in this room? The soul which is closest to me in this room. And everyone's like, yeah, must be the person sitting right in front of you. And Prabhupada goes, no, it's this mosquito sitting on my body, and it's simply causing me disturbance. So therefore, proximity, as you're trying to get proximity with these senior leaders, it is about doing it through acts of service without creating disturbance for them. Is genuine acts of service is what is going to help you develop your relationship with them over the years. And that's what's going to help you, and not disturbing them like the mosquito on Prabhupada, who was the closest to him, who just wanted his resources, wanted to get his blood for his own nourishment. Yes? Now, where could you find such people? And I would recommend 3 places to look for. Number 1, there are paid communities that are focused on this. And they have a structured way for you to meet your peer community and the expert communities in a way in which that you can interact, in a way in which that you can grow through structured contact. And people exist in that community because they know that they're here to serve each other, learn from each other, share their genius with each other, and grow from each other's geniuses. So when you're talking to them or approaching them, there is no pressure of oh, I can't keep talking to my friend about this all the time, or my wife, or my husband, or my dad, or my mom, or, or my kids. You don't have that pressure. Those communities are meant for that purpose, and it gives you proximity to your peers and to the leaders that you want proximity with. And usually leaders have created these communities so that people can connect with them through these systematic communities. And I'm building one such community called the Transcend Partnership for Leaders that you can get links for in the description. You can join the waitlist, and you will be informed as soon as things open up. Yes. The second place where you can find this kind of proximity is through one-on-one coaching. There are master coaches who are too good, great in their fields, in their niches. And if you want proximity so that you can learn from their learning curve and you can get the guidance, etc., it's a formal arrangement that you can have with them, and you can sign up for one-on-one coaching with them. And investing with them, you get a clear roadmap for that particular area in which you want to be successful. And it helps you in learning from their curve. They give you enough guardrails to protect yourself from failure because they have been there, done that. They can foresee a lot of things, and you get the protection. And it just helps you elevate, and you have someone to talk to, a sounding board. So you get proximity with leaders by signing up with their coaching, with experts in their field. And you get proximity with your peers by signing up for specific communities that are dedicated for this purpose. And the third way you can get proximity is through your everyday hangouts or places that you go to regularly, right? It could be the gym, it could be the country club, it could be your temple, your church, your workplace, the elevator, your carpool ride, your bus ride. And you are going to find people, and if you make genuine relationships with them, that their proximity is going to help you elevate yourself. Now, you may ask me this question that, hey, Namita, you're just talking about humility, acts of service, finding these people, doing all of that. And I'm telling you, yes, that's what I'm suggesting to you. But your question would be like, when can I make my ask? When can I ask them for help? And therefore, communities, paid communities that you join and paid one-on-one coaching, you don't have to worry about when can you make your ask, because those arrangements exist only for that particular purpose. Now, the third type, which is where you meet people in a conference, in a hangout, in a Zoom session, and at the grocery store, at the country club, at the gym, at your temple, church, workplace, carpool ride, etc. It's long-term relationship building that needs to be invested over there. So sometimes you may not make an ask for many years. Sometimes you may feel that, wow, what this person has is so huge that I don't even have the capacity to fathom it or digest it. So let me just be here and be of service to them. And the very fact that I am in their proximity, I am learning so much, and continue being their well-wisher and friend. And it gives you an entry into a very special relationship. It gives you a front row seat to their life and their activities and how they are growing themselves and their leadership and their business to do things. So there's much to be grateful for, even if you don't get a chance to make an ask. And sometimes you're not ready to gain, as I said, from their expertise and connections, but it gives you the impetus to build to the next level, to see what's possible. And in such relationships, and I have some similar relationships, I'm just happy to share consistently my growth with them, my activities with them. And at the right time, as we get to know each other well, there may be some synergy where there would be some mutual synergy where we could be of service to each other. And that's where patience comes in, and that's where the attitude of developing relationships comes in handy. So I end this podcast closing now. As we discussed today, proximity is power, extremely important. You want to have proximity with your peers in the same line of work so that you can learn from each other. You want to have proximity with leaders. The way to approach them is through acts of service and humility. And you can find such people in paid communities dedicated for this, paid one-on-one coaching, and I offer one-on-one coaching as well. And if you want, you can sign up if you want to become a leader with a very strong core based on Eastern wisdom and Western psychology, so that you can 10x your life and business. I have a paid community coming up soon, the Transcend Partnership, and you can check out the links and join the waitlist. The links are in the description. And the third thing is everyday hangouts, and base it on genuine relationships of service, of connection. And as you be together for long, there may be some synergies that would be mutually beneficial, and work towards that. So thank you very much for listening in to the Lead with Ease podcast with me, Namita Purohit. Please subscribe to my channel. Please subscribe to this podcast. And I hope to serve you regularly with many such insights on Lead with Ease, with Eastern wisdom and Western psychology, to help you have a strong inner core, to build your resilience, to build your confidence so that you can lead with ease. Thank you very much.